So Money in the Bank was 4 days ago. NXT Heatwave was 3 days ago. And I was thinking about just doing a Money in the Bank review, but NXT Heatwave was going on, so I was like, why not? Let me watch it. And it actually turned out to be a pretty good show. So I was thinking, let's put the two head to head and let's see which show is better. Starting off with Money in the Bank. Now, I got almost the entire card correct. You just had to swap out the ladder matches and I got them correct. So instead of the women's match starting, we start off with the men's match, which Drew McIntyre won, as I predicted. So, this was an amazing match. It's very close to being my favorite Money in the Bank ladder match of all time. Some of the spots in here were rough to watch. Like, you have Chad Gable, falling almost to his death. Yeet versus Yeah. That was cool to see. All of the bumps were awesome. Carmelo Hayes giving it his all. And, Andrade still being, awesome in the ring. That match was awesome to watch. And, Drew McIntyre winning. That was cool. And I have a very controversial opinion based on what we're going to talk about later in the video, so stay tuned for that. But for now, this match gets 4 3/4 out of 5 for me personally. It's probably my second or third favorite Money in the Bank ladder match of all time now. So yeah, this was very good. Thumbs up from me. Next up, we had Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, where Sami Zayn retained. And I'll be honest, I have no idea why many people are calling Sammy Hogan now. Chill, guys. The man has been champion for just under 100 days. I understand Braun was the favorite to win this, and he should have won this. But I'm fine with Sami Zayn winning because, it gave... at the very least, it gave Braun this platform. And he's still being featured on Raw, weekly. Let's not forget that. And in my opinion, this could probably lead to a fatal 4-way at SummerSlam. Sami, Braun, Ilya, and Sheamus. Yeah, four-way for the IC title, and that's where Braun wins. So, I feel like that's the direction they're heading in. Especially if you watch this past Monday night, and I'll be talking about Monday Night Raw in a separate video, so stay tuned for that too. But yeah, this was a good match. It showed how Braun can work a slow-paced match. He's very good at squashing people, and it showed how Sami Zayn is good at being the underdog who rises to the occasion. So I give this match 3 3/4. It was not too bad in my opinion, although I do think Braun should have won this. And now we go into the controversial shit. So Seth versus Damian for the world title. Up until that one botch, and hell, even a little bit after that, this was a pretty good match. And apparently before the ref hit the 3, Drew's music was supposed to play, but his music played afterwards. And yeah, Drew attempted to cash in, and it became a triple threat match. But then out of nowhere, CM Punk came in to screw over Drew, and Damian seized the opportunity and retained the title. And in my opinion, this was a great decision. Now let me explain. You guys probably forgot that Drew versus CM Punk is the money-making match. I don't know when it will happen, but I'm hoping it happens at SummerSlam, because that's the perfect place to do it, because they've been building this for 6 or 7 months now. I think now is the perfect time to say, okay, we'll have the match. At this point, I think CM Punk is pretty much cleared. He is out here punching now, and he's no longer wearing the thing to cover his tricep, so I think he's good now. So yeah, I think CM Punk is cleared and we're getting the match at SummerSlam, and this was a perfect way to go there. He had Drew McIntyre, consistently calling out CM Punk. He's always on his mind. He's screwing over Punk. Remember guys, he's the one that got Punk injured. He's the one that put him on the shelf for 6 months. And so Punk is getting his revenge by, screwing over Drew at Clash at the Castle, and now screwing over Drew at Money in the Bank. You guys realize that there are many times where WWE will make these moments that can be put on video packages, and this is definitely one of those instances. So in my case, I think this was a good match, and I think I gave this match 4 stars, and I think it deserves that rating. if you combine both the previous match and the triple threat, you know, this was a fun match. So yeah, 4 for me. Next up, the women's match. Now this has probably now become my favorite women's ladder match, you know, women's Money in the Bank match of all time. These women did not need to go this hard for no reason. Like, some of these spots were absolutely brutal. And some of these moments where, you know, Chelsea Green is struggling to climb the ladder because of her fear of heights, that was hilarious. But then, you know, she climbs to the very top, but then, oh, what's this? Those 2 tables that just happen to be set up there. She crashes down on them. And the person who pulled the ladder is Tiffany Stratton, and she climbs up and wins the briefcase. So Tiffany Stratton is Miss Money in the Bank. I think this was a great choice. I said it in my predictions video. I don't mind if Tiffany wins. You know, I wanted Chelsea to win because you could have had like a Carmella thing, but you know, I think Tiffy time is the best time right now. So yeah, Tiffany Stratton winning was a great call, and I can't wait to see where she goes with the briefcase, because I know she's going to have a great run with it. I don't know when she'll cash in, but it's definitely happening very soon. And finally, I can't believe nobody predicted this as the main event, but it was pretty obvious, guys. Cody, Kevin, and Randy versus the Bloodline was obviously going to be the main event. And, you know, it was a great showcase of what Jacob Fatu can do. But other than showcasing Jacob Fatu, this match was kind of mid, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm glad that Solo pinned Cody, but you know, those are the 2 highlights: Jacob Fatu going all out, and you know, Solo pinning Cody. Because besides that, I mean, sure, Kevin Owens, you know, got that crowd energy after he delivered that great promo, but besides that, you know, there wasn't that like big thing. It felt like they were trying to replicate the Bloodline Civil War from last year, but they came very, very short. For this match, I give this match 3.5 out of 5 stars. So yeah, I forgot to mention the rating for the women's match. But yeah, those are my ratings for Money in the Bank. Overall, as an overall show, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It was not that bad in my opinion, but it definitely could have been way better. And now it's time for my favorite part of the video, the time we talk about NXT Heatwave. Now this was a very good show. I rarely watch NXT to begin with, but this was a very good show. To start off, we have the North American title, you know, Obafemi versus Wes Lee. Again, this match was so good. Like, it was basically kind of a squash match. And Obafemi, he is so good, bro. Like, he's great at being this like big guy who's gonna like dominate all of these little boys. Even though Wes Lee is not really that little boy, but you know, this match was very good. There were many points where he was throwing him around. Some of those bumps looked brutal, but you know, Wes Lee fought his hardest. But in the end, Oba retained, and now Wes Lee can't challenge for the title as long as Oba is champion. So yeah, this was a very good match. I give this match 4 1/4. This was a great way to kick off the show. We then have Sol Ruka versus Kalani Jordan, I think that's her last name. Sol versus Kalani. You know, the person who should have won the NXT Women's North American title versus the person who actually won. I was rooting for Sol Ruka to win that ladder match, honestly. Especially like after hearing her story and like how she came back from injury. I wanted her to win that, sorry. But, you know, and again, I also wanted her to win this match, but she didn't. It's fine. I think they went a little bit overboard with some of the flipping spots, even though they were cool. I don't want to see a match that's just flipping and flipping and flipping. I think there needs to be at least some combat in the match. You can do your flips, but have some combat in there as well. So I think that downgrades it a little bit. If they would have like gave a good balance, I would have given it like 4 1/4. But the flipping overkill drags it down to like 3 3/4. So yeah, some of you might disagree with me on that, but you know, that's just how I feel. And another rating you guys might disagree with: Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Is it Axiom or Axiom? I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Versus Chase University. Another rating you guys might disagree with. Some people might rate this match 5 stars. I say this is a 4-star match. Look, this definitely surprised me. I thought this was good. This was going to be like my bathroom break match, but you know, apparently it wasn't. And there were some good spots here. There were moments where I genuinely thought Chase U were going to win the tag titles, but in the end, Nathan and Axiom win. and I think they deserve to have a longer run with the titles. I don't know when they drop them, but I can't wait to see who their next opponent is. We then have Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice for the NXT Women's title, and I believe this had lots of potential, especially with heel Roxanne, but in my opinion, it under-delivered. Like, there were many times where they were doing spots that were so predictable, I saw them coming from a mile away. And there were times where they went a little bit overkill with like Pop Rocks, Roxanne's finisher. That was like a good thing, she hits it for one time, then Lola kicks out, she hits it another time on the table, and then Lola kicks out. And then she follows it up with 3 consecutive Pop Rocks, which is basically just a Canadian destroyer. And then she wins the title. She retains the title. Dummy. But I did like that. And I don't know, I think this could have been way better. 3.5 for me, in my opinion. And now we have come to the moment I've been waiting for. The Fatal 4-Way, Trick Williams, Ethan Page, Javon Evans, Sean Spears, Fatal 4-Way for the NXT title. This was the best match of the entire weekend, okay? This is cinema. Okay, this is cinema. Some of these spots are unbelievable. This was actually my first time seeing Javon Evans wrestle live. I've always heard that boy is bouncy, but I wondered how bouncy was he really? And now I got to see it for myself. The fact that this kid is 20 years old and he is out here doing shit like he's been wrestling for 10 years. He's basically the modern equivalent of either Ricochet or Will Ospreay. Maybe even a merger of both. It's crazy what he can do in that ring. It's unbelievable. And yeah, Ethan Page, he wasn't that guy I paid that much attention to when he was in AEW. But once he came to NXT, he definitely sparked an interest in me. And Sean Spears, the guy who used to be doing 10-10-10. So that's definitely a guy now. And I love seeing Trick Williams rise to superstardom with the fans. Over 10 or 15,000 people shouting, "Whoop that Trick!" That is awesome. And this was all just before the match really gets going, and we see some of the most insane spots ever. And I absolutely love the finish. So Javon Evans is on the ground, and then Trick Williams kicks Ethan Page, but then Ethan Page falls on Javon Evans, but then Sean Spears drags Trick Williams out of the ring. 1, 2, 3, Ethan Page is the new NXT champion. Amazing. I'm tempted to give this either 4 3/4 or 5 stars, but in my opinion, I think this is deserving of 5 stars. In my opinion, this was awesome. I could watch this match over and over and over again. It was not even that long. It was so fast paced. It reminded me of the day one Fatal 5-Way, in 2022, but this one was so much better in my opinion. I think overall NXT Heatwave was the better show. I'd give the show an 8.5 out of 10. I had a blast watching it, and I can't wait for the next NXT PLE. So, with that being said, I'm out. Deuces. Ooses.